This 10,000 items an hour moss farm designed by Xisumavoid is super efficient. This farm was designed by Xisumavoid in one of his Hermitcraft videos. There'll be a link in the description down below to check that out. So props to Xisumavoid for designing this thing. So this video will teach you how to build this farm and how the farm actually works. So what you need to build this farm is quite a lot, but you should be pretty late game to make a farm like this. What you need is shown on the screen right here. Keep in mind that the amount of compressed ice and chests you need really varies on what you want your sorting system to be, and also stone will be generated, so you only need a few bits of stone to... Get off my arm! My god. Flies have no respect. So to make this farm, it's pretty simple. All I gotta do is one block, which is the start of your farm, and go 4 blocks out either side. This will be where you start the farm. You'll want to get rid of 1 block here. Place a sticky piston over here with sand on top. This is just to make sure the piston does not leave the block flying over there if a 1-tick pulse is sent to it, which is pretty much how the farm runs. You'll then need to place a block here, and a lever on it, place redstone dust on top, and activate the lever. You then want to place blocks 1 block out, another block out, and another block out. Then place an observer on 2 ticks, which means you click it once. Do the same here. Place redstone dust here. And another repeater on 2 ticks here. Then place a dropper facing any direction as long as it's empty. And an observer facing into the dropper. You then place blocks over here and go 7 blocks out from the observer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, and 7. After that, you place rails on top of these 7 blocks. Then place an observer facing into the rails, and then go 1 block out and place a block here. So the observer will be powering the block here. You then go 4 blocks out, make that same square you made over there, like this. Again, 1 block out in each. A dropper facing upwards. 1 repeater, 2 ticks, another repeater on 2 ticks. Redstone dust here, and a repeater on 2 ticks. You then repeat the process by placing an observer facing into the dropper, going 7 blocks out from the observer, placing the powered rail, an observer facing into the powered rail, and a block like this. You then repeat the process again. And then we go again, 1 more time. Once you're over here, you place an observer facing into this rail here, and that's the set for this clock. To turn on this clock, you unpower the lever, power again, and then unpower again. And you can see it circles around, just like this. Until you turn it off by powering the lever. Once you've done the actual clock, you start building the generators, in which you place observers facing into these rails like this. Observers facing into those observers, just like that. And then pistons facing upwards on those observers, just like this. You then place pistons facing that way. And it should look like this. You then repeat this on all 4 sides. Once you've done all this, you start placing a wall 4 blocks high of the building block of your choice. In this case, I chose glass because you could see right through it. Now once you have that done, it should look like this, with 1 block on top of each piston and just in those sides here. You then start going 2 blocks out on each side, just like this, and start placing a wall here. This is where we'll be placing the water. The water will be placed here, and to make use of your resources, make sure you start using infinite water sources, just like this. Once you're done, start placing stone above the water so you prevent any lava from getting in. Then place a glass layer here to prevent lava from escaping. Once you've done that, place lava in the center. You can place it all over there, but that's quite unnecessary since we already got lava spreading through all sides here. You then mirror this on each side. Once you've done all this, it should look like this. And you've successfully made a really big stone generator. You must go. Man. You go as well. Bye. Goodbye. Leave. Hello? And as I said, leave. Bye. So now to turn on this generator, all you gotta do is activate the loop by turning it on and off. Just like that. And what do you know? We've got a functioning generator. Don't worry if this happens, it won't push. Just like this. It's really satisfying, not gonna lie. And then once it's all full, it will still keep activating, but it cannot push due to a piston limit. You cannot make this any smaller because if you do, it would push into this and then push into the lava. It will destroy the entire thing. Now to continue onto this, you start getting a building block and start filling in the gaps here. Just like this. So it makes a perfect 7x7 square in the center. This is to prevent any water from escaping the square. You then get your dispensers, and from the switch here, you place the dispenser here, one block in, just on the corner. Here, from one block, and going anti-clockwise, here, directly in. This will create a perfect water flow where it could flow perfectly to this far corner. You then go to get your building block of choice, and from the far corner, you build one out from here, and just build it on to make a square. You then place redstone dust here and all around the square. Leaving one bit for a repeater. The repeater will be on 2 ticks by clicking it once. It really doesn't matter where you place it as long as it's in between the dispensers here and the end over here. Here will be the elevator and where the items will go. So you start by breaking these 4 blocks. Then the block underneath. You then place soul sand over here. And a sticky piston here, facing into the soul sand 1 block away. You then place a spruce trapdoor and open it. This is to prevent the water from this water elevator coming out. And also to push the items a small bit further so they get into the hoppers correctly. To make sure the trapdoor does not destroy the water source here, we're going to break the block over here. Place stone stairs here facing into the glass there. And another one over here facing away. You then get 2 water buckets. Waterlog this stair and waterlog this stair, and they should create an infinite source in the middle. Once you've done that, you'll place 1 layer of glass over here. Then go 3 blocks higher. 2 and 3. Leaving this one over here. I'm going to place a temporary block over here. Place a water source at the top. And use kelp to turn this into water sources. In which then it'll make a successful elevator. Then place a temporary block, some glass, so the water elevator doesn't send the items off into space. Then get your compressed ice and place it down 1 so it's level with the top. And basically just go out of a couple of blocks. It really doesn't matter. You then place a piece of glass here and ender chests over here. I don't actually know whether you need an ender chest or just a normal chest will do fine. But I'm doing ender chest just to keep safe. You then place glass under this just to keep, just because, really. There's no reason, there's no reason you need glass there. Then start placing your iron bars over here. Just all 7 of them. Not like that. You then place more glass here just to prevent the water from getting out. And then you could destroy this temporary block. And bad planning on my part, but this is actually meant to be a compressed ice block. So you could just like quickly replace that. just like that. You can then place 1 block here just so the items don't come out. Now in the center over here, go 3 blocks in, so we're at the really center. Temporary block, piece of moss. This will be the life of our farm. Without it, we won't be able to make more moss. Then place a dispenser facing towards the moss. Fill it with bone meal. Then 3 hoppers, 1 facing into the moss. Then 2 either side of it facing into that hopper. Then you place 3 composters on top of it and 3 hoppers on top of those composters. Then get some temporary blocks and place a piston facing into the moss, 1 block above. This will just make sure that any items on top of the moss goes away so the moss can actually spread onto the stone down below. You then go right to the beginning where you trigger the mechanism. Go to the right over here, then the center of it, so 3 blocks in, and then start placing an observer facing towards the rails. You place another observer facing downwards and another observer facing downwards before placing a dropper facing upwards. You then place another observer and another dropper. 1 more observer, 1 more dropper, 1 more, 2 more observers, 1 dropper, then 2 observers and 1 dropper, an observer, a dropper, and an observer, finally facing upwards, just like that. The reason why we have the droppers is to activate the signal here and the piston, because the observer will then hard power that, and then the observer will sense the change in that dropper, therefore continuing the flow. And 1 more block on top of this lava source here. You then place 1 repeater here on full ticks, if you could do that, by clicking it 3 times, right-clicking it. You then do the same thing here on full ticks, so 4 ticks, 3 times. This circuit here is to activate the dispensers once again, which will then take away the water. You then get 3 water buckets and place 1 in each of these 3 dispensers. Once you've completed that, you're pretty much done. All I gotta do is make a good storage system by maybe expanding this ice out a bit, placing a couple of hoppers or whatever, and a chest underneath, just like that. It really doesn't have to be complicated. It does have to be big, because if you want to run this for longer than 20 minutes, you'll need more than a double chest. All I got to do now is fill this dispenser with some bone meal and activate the system by going down to the sand here and by activating it just like that. This farm is self-sufficient, meaning that these hoppers will then go into the composters, which will then turn into bone meal and into that dispenser. It makes enough moss to fill that up and fill that chest up, which is pretty neat. And yeah, huge props to Xisumavoid for designing this farm. If you like this video, don't forget to check out my previous video, and I'll see you next time. See ya!